I take my rightful place at the head of the table. Believe that.
Welcome to the Yeah We Know podcast, part of the More You Know's podcasting network. In the ring with Jimmy, Rod, and Chris, and it is our annual Yeah We Know Awards for 2024. Can you believe it, Chris? Another year has gone by.
It seems to have gone fast, but when you go back and look at all the great things that have happened in the WWE this year, it's amazing that it all happened in 12 months.
It really is, Rod.
I'll tell you what I'm going to say, Jimmy. We have another calendar year under our belts with Chris here with us on the podcast. I think officially moving forward in 2025, Jim, we do not allow Chris to say that he is the new guy ever again. He cannot use that as a crutch or a stable in any of his arguments.
He's the least experienced of the group in only one way, and it's watching wrestling. Everything else, he's more experienced than you and I are.
That's very true. I guess we'll allow it. He has to say it that way, though, Chris. You can no longer be a rookie. You have to just say you're the least experienced. We want you to get even more wordy, quite like your mausoleum of ineptitude.
By the way, still one of my favorite things you've ever said, and it just happened a few minutes ago. We are going through our end of the year WWE awards. Couple of caveats here. It's a WWE award. We're not talking AEW. We're not talking Japan. We're not talking anything else. Chris wouldn't have it. Okay. Plus, we don't have that much time to watch that stuff. We're not even really talking NXT, or are we? Depending on if Rod has put anything in for NXT. But what we are talking about is our tag team of the year. And I'm going to start off this category because it is my team, your team, our team. It is DIY in a very down tag team year. DIY has been a beacon of hope for me and me alone, and it's my award, and I'm going to do it. So I don't even really care, guys. Okay? They won it twice this year. Specifically, this last time, though, was a big swerve when everyone thought they were breaking up, thought they were going in one direction. No, they turned heel, went another direction, and they are now starting the climb to the main event of WrestleMania. DIY, your tag team of the year for Jimmy. Rod.
How about that? I want to say right now, as well as a little caveat, all of my picks are vibes. All right, I'm a vibes guy. I'm an entertainment guy. I'm a feels guy. Okay, Jimmy's going to give some stats to you, and that's why he's the expert here on the show. Chris is going to give you some insane takes because that's what we bring him on to do. I'm going to give you the vibes and the feels that are all correct for these answers. And Jimmy, in an absolute shocker, my tag team of the year is 3 letters, DIY. And my reasoning, you're not going to like my reasoning, Jimmy. You touched on it in your reasoning. My main reasoning is, congratulations, DIY. You were the greatest tag team in a year that tag teams did not matter. So congratulations to you guys there. But the other way I looked at it, Jim, they were workhorses. These guys did Raws. They did SmackDowns. They were always ready to wrestle. You said it yourselves. They have won the belt twice in a calendar year. I got to give it to DIY.
Chris King. Make it a trifecta, buddy.
I mean, last year, you guys really came down on me hard. I really thought the tag team division was down last year, and I didn't even want to pick a tag team. And I didn't hear the end of it forever. So even though it was, marginally worse in the tag team division this year, I actually have a winner for you. It is not DIY. It is the Motor City Machine Guns. You want to know why, Jimmy? Because they've been
in it for a month.
They got me excited about the tag team division in the WWE. All right. I wanted to pay attention. I was excited what they brought to the ring. I could tell they were a real tag team. They've been doing it for a long time, and it seems like the WWE has gotten away from that in the tag team division lately. So I was real happy to see that. That's why they get it from me this year.
Off to a great start.
I mean, that's fine.
Chris 0 for 1 already. Off to a great start.
Got you excited. Hey, they're a tag team, though, Rod. You got to give him credit. They are a tag team.
No, you said it yourself. They have like 4 matches on TV. Chris is literally giving a team that's had 4 televised matches in the WWE Tag Team of the Year.
You guys gave Wrestler of the Year to Roman Reigns when he only wrestles 4 times a year.
Lord. He appears on TV way more than that. And then Chris wants to make himself seem like he's magnanimous for making this terrible pick because he didn't even make one last year. Good Lord, that's ridiculous.
Oh, damn it. Sorry. The Bears just had another wonderful thing happen that was taken away from them. So anyway, Chris, what do you want to go to next after your tag team?
I mean, I think we should get this out of the way. I think this may be one that we're all in agreement on as well. And I want to say that's the PLE of the year.
Okay.
And for me, it was WrestleMania 40. All right. Like, that was a spectacle of phenomenal proportions, right? I don't think we can say anything else. We got The Rock coming back, main event. It's what we want as fans, and I have been nothing but a fan this year for sure. So it was WrestleMania 40.
I actually had WrestleMania 40, specifically night 2 of WrestleMania 40. I thought people went home happy. It was a terrific event overall. I love that. Rod, what you got?
Gentlemen, WrestleMania is completely a basic answer out of you guys. That's like going to Pottery Barn to shop for decor. That's like going to Starbucks to get your coffee. That is completely basic to pick the premium live event that the WWE themselves calls their Super Bowl of the year. So I'm excited that you guys were daredevils and went out on a limb there to pick WrestleMania as your premium live event of the year. Let me give you a better answer, okay? Let me give you a premium live event where we had 3 title changes, 5 title matches, 1 heel turn, 1 return, and we had a celebrity involved in a viral moment that made the rounds, and that is important WWE currency as well. I'm talking about SummerSlam in Cleveland. All right. Jelly rolled, Dom turned, not Jade Cargill. Somebody returned. Who returned? Roman Reigns returned. That's who it was. I mean, come on. SummerSlam in Cleveland was a huge, huge deal. They had like 57,000 people there. SummerSlam was a big time, good time. And it was probably, Jimmy, the last year SummerSlam will ever be one day.
Wow, Rod, I'm so impressed that you picked WWE's second biggest pay-per-view of the year. Royal Rumble is in my mind but SummerSlam in their mind is as the pay-per-view. Yes, that was actually my number 2. I did go back and forth. The Jelly Roll thing was fantastic. Roman Reigns coming back, I thought could have been done a little bit better, but overall, yes, I agree that was a really good pay-per-view. Chris.
I mean, I think we learned at SummerSlam that I have an MGK problem, and so I cannot be a fan of Jelly Roll because he hangs with MGK.
Okay, fair enough. I love you, Chris. You're so funny. Rod, what? Let's go to whichever category you want to go to next. What do you want to hit?
All right, well, I got to go away from my copious notes that I took because I was watching back some of the PLEs over the last couple of days to take myself back, and it's quite odd to look back on Royal Rumble in January, right, when we're about ready to get to another Royal Rumble and then see what was laid out, but maybe I'll get to that again later. Let's go to something that's similar to tag team, and this, I think, actually, Chris, you went out on a limb there saying we're all going to have the same answer for PLE. I'm going to now go out on a limb and say I think we should all have the same answer for faction. That's the new bloodline. I mean, I'm sorry. I don't want it to be, but the new bloodline made up so many main events at premium live events. The new bloodline jumped over to Raw. They jumped over to SmackDown. They feuded with this person, with that person, won tag team championships. It's got to be the new bloodline.
I agree with you there, Rod. I think Judgment Day, you could have an argument for Judgment Day, but I think the two. I think Judgment Day is kind of like the NWO now. There's so many people in it that you kind of.
It's the Liv Morgan Judgment Day that is the best faction of the year. It's the Liv Morgan Judgment Day.
So the Liv Morgan Judgment Day, in your mind, has done more for the business, done more for the shows, done more for your interest than the new bloodline.
By far. I mean, I think as far as I am concerned, and this is what I'm basing these awards off of, these are my picks, all right? And keeping me interested in watching week to week, it is Judgment Day storylines, not bloodline storylines. It's changing a little bit now that Drew and LA Knight are both having storylines with the bloodline. That helps the bloodline out in my eyes, but that's what helps them out.
All right. I think that the Bloodline had a little bit more to do with wrestling in most people's minds than Judgment Day. But again, I think Judgment Day had a really good year too.
I'm just not going to fight with him on the Bloodline anymore. Chris has been clear. He hates the Bloodline. He hates Solo Sikoa. He hates Roman Reigns. Like, he's been clear. So I'm just not going to fight with him about the Bloodline anymore.
All right, so we're going to go to spot or move of the year next, and it's going to go back to SummerSlam. So maybe I was wrong. Maybe it should have been SummerSlam. I think the spot of the year was Dom kissing Liv. I'm not going to lie. That got so much hatred, so much the visceral reaction that Rhea Ripley had in that moment was amazing, and it's really spawned for the next few months afterwards. I know that's kind of cheating. I know it's pretty bad. I know I'm the one saying this, which is really weird, but I'm going to go Dom kissing Liv as your spot or move of the year.
That is definitely a thing that deserves to come up on the Yeah We Knowies. I'm disappointed that the rock solid producer and adult on this podcast is the one that brought it up for move/spot of the year. But Jimmy,
come on.
I'm glad that it deserves to be talked about. I will speak more on it when it comes up at more of a proper category later in the show. I will give you
of the year. Gotcha.
I will give you the spot/move of the year right now. It goes out to the current first ever United States Women's Champion, Miss Chelsea Green, in the Money in the Bank ladder match when she is up at the top of the very, very tall ladder. And then she took a spill from the top of the fall ladder outside into the ring, bursting through a table. Spot of the year out of Chelsea Green. Like, it was one of those spots where everybody was like, oh my God. And then she did it, and she was absolutely fabulous. We saw her back the next day on Raw, and she continued to do everything that Chelsea Green always does. But that was the move spot of the year for me, Jimmy.
Okay, I love it. I love it. Chris King.
I don't even. So that women's match, Rod, was phenomenal. I don't even know if that was the best spot in that match. Io Sky took a shot in that match that rivals just about anything. But I think I kind of leaned in this category more towards Jimmy. My spot of the year was the slap, right? Between Cody and The Rock. That was my spot of the year.
That was huge. That was big. Okay. At the when Rock slapped Cody at the yeah. Okay.
Let's just take out all the moves then that involve tables and high ladders and moonsaults. Let's just take all those out then. If you guys are just going to give big spots and moves to like stuff like that, like let's just get rid of the matches and just make it a complete soap opera then. If you guys are not even going to give props to somebody that put their bodies on the line for a move. My goodness.
Hot Rod. Coming hot.
Yeah, well, I mean, what
are we doing? I like anybody else wants pomp and circumstance and entertainment, but at some point, this is wrestling, dudes. At some point, there are moves, and there are people that need to be honored for the moves that they did for our entertainment. You guys are just slapping them in the face by saying, "Oh, when Liv kissed Dom, people were excited."
My number 2 was when CM Punk hit Drew McIntyre with the toolbox and almost killed him. So I go. Either way, Chris, what's your next category you want to talk about?
All right, let's get something real here, and let's go to most overrated of the year. This is one where we get to throw some shade at some people we may not enjoy, maybe we don't like, maybe they get a little bit too much screen time for our liking and our taste. And I know this is going to just drive Rod nuts because I'm going to stay on brand, and I'm going to take Solo Sikoa as most overrated.
Okay. Give us some examples of his overratedness.
I mean, show me a match that he's fought one-on-one and had success without some kind of shenanigans going on. He has done nothing to essentially really claim lead of his faction. All right, all that happened was his boss lost, but not to him. He just lost, but somehow he gets to take over. It made no sense to me. Still doesn't make that much sense to me. I just think it's overrated.
So a power vacuum is created within a organization that runs a little bit like a criminal organization, right? They even craft some of the storylines and some of their
bosses go to jail. They're not around, but they're still the bosses.
All right. So a power vacuum gets created and someone steps into said power vacuum and then proceeds to main event many television shows throughout the year and main event in a couple of premium live events. And is it possible, Chris, that said performer uses outside interference to make a fan hate him even more? Is it possible that someone in a sport of wrestling where we are trying to get emotion out of people is only cheating in matches because that drives someone like you crazy? Is it possible, Chris?
I mean, it doesn't necessarily drive me crazy, so it's even more overrated. I just don't care about it. The only reason I'm caring more is because now he has storylines with Drew and LA Knight. Those people interest me, not this new bloodline. That's why they didn't win Best Faction for me as well.
Okay. Chris has made his point. Rod, who's your most overrated? Please say Solo Sikoa.
My most overrated is Nia Jax.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that I was going to. Is she rated, though? Does anyone think she's good?
No, and that's why she's overrated, right? Like, that's why she's overrated. Like, if we play off of what Chris's little diatribe was that he just did here, right? Chris is basically operating on, I don't care what you do in the ring. I'm not going to have any kind of metrics for performance for sports entertainers. I'm only going to care about you if you do what I and my personal soul want to see, right? And Nia Jax, just no one in their soul wants to see her do anything. So she's overrated because, as like Chris just stated, it doesn't matter what she does. Everyone's going to hate her in the main event of everything that she appears in. I understand that that's a value in sports entertainment, but if we're going to take it off of what Chris just so eloquently argued, Nia Jax doesn't matter because everyone hates her and will always hate her.
Okay. I'm going with the Wyatt Six on this one. I think that they came in really strong. They've kind of just been meddling. I like the feuds and but it's not as big as I thought that they were going to be, and they haven't been pushed to that level yet. So I've just kind of been about the Wyatt Six. And
do you think that's because we've lost an hour of Raw, so we don't have enough time for some of these outside storylines? Because I think the Wyatt Six and Karrion Kross would be two groups that would benefit from an additional hour on Raw.
Well, the good news is they're getting it starting on January 6th. So there we go. Now we'll have 6 hours of wrestling instead of 5 hours of wrestling to watch. So that'll be fun.
Well, right now we're only getting 4.
Is my most overrated there. Rod, what is your Rod? Your category's next, correct? Yes. Go ahead.
Let's go to most underrated, and my answer for most underrated is Nia Jax. Because Nia Jax is much better at wrestling than anyone gives her credit for. What do you want someone her size to do? Okay?
Not hurt people, Rod. I don't want her to hurt people. A lot of people bigger than her haven't hurt people. She hurts people.
You're right, Jimmy. I cannot dispute that. But what I will say is she has the moveset of any classic giant in the WWE. All right, I'm fine with it. She's a little bit better on the mic than anybody gives her credit for. Do I wish that she didn't hurt people? Absolutely. Of course I do. But her hurting people gave birth to Becky Lynch, who you love. So, Jimmy, are you really that mad at her for hurting people?
All right, fine. Maybe I'm not mad at hurting people. You know what I am mad at, though? I'm mad at this guy does not have an Intercontinental Championship, a U.S. Championship, hell, the World Championship. I'm saying Sheamus. Sheamus continues to be the most underrated person on the roster. You put him in a match with anyone who can wrestle, they're going to have a banger. I love everything he does. He just has some of the greatest matches that we've seen at his level. Over the past few years, he's had his greatest matches over the past few years, and I just want to continue to see him grow. So we'll see what happens, Chris.
So I'm even though this person has gotten some of their flowers as of late, I still think they were really an underrated person, and really, even in my eyes, because I didn't value them enough in the WWE, even though some people on this particular podcast did. That's Chelsea Green, because I didn't think of her as real legitimate when we started this year, and it has changed over the course of the year. And I think that is something that should be recognized, and that's why I put her as my most underrated.
I like that. She's gotten over despite the angles that they've put her in, and she's a champion now. And she's actually a really good wrestler. So we can actually see some things happen there, Rod. I think it'll be a pretty decent 2025 for Chelsea Green.
Listen, love Chris's answer. Love Chelsea Green getting any accolades. I shouted her out for the move of the year. That was the only spot I could work her in. And Jimmy, I love your call of Sheamus. If I didn't have a horse that I was willing to die on with my Nia Jax in both categories there, a point that I was trying to make, I might have went with Sheamus. So I love that answer.
The next category I think we need to do is we'll do Dominic Mysterio level heat. And there is only kind of one answer to this, which is why I'm going to go with it. The New Day was close. People hate the New Day right now, but it's been like 3 weeks. Let's let it go. Dom Mysterio cannot walk anywhere. He can't go to his own wedding without being booed. People, it's Dom Mysterio is the Dom Mysterio heat of the year, in my opinion.
The way I see this, we either continue to give the award to Dominic Mysterio or we retire it next year and just honor him by then and continuing to name the award after him, but he can't be eligible for it because I have Dom as well. I wanted so badly to pick someone else because Chris spends entirely too much time giving Dom Mysterio flowers on this podcast and even way more time giving Dom Mysterio flowers in our wrestling text message thread that we may sometime make available for our Patreon users if we ever go there. But right now, you're just going to have to wait for us to tell you what Chris's insane thoughts are in there, and he loves Dom Mysterio. So I wanted so badly to not pick Dom, but I had to.
Yeah, no one gets the heat that Dom gets. That's why we named this award after him, and that's why he is definitely the winner this year unanimously, right? I mean,
okay, unanimous winner.
Yeah, there's no one else that's getting the heat that he does.
That's huge. Like, we rarely have unanimous winners on this podcast as well because Chris loves nothing more than being contrarian. So that's how much heat Dom gets.
All right, Chris, next category.
I know Rod has anticipated this answer from me. We are going to go to best vignette of the year. This particular one, they did a couple of different versions of from week to week, and I thought it was fantastic. It was completely what I want to see. And that is going to be, this is my first, essentially, first wrestler to take home 2 trophies tonight. And that is, again, Chelsea Green with her dumpster training before her Michin fight. Like, those, nothing gave me more joy this year than watching those. They were fabulous.
I love you.
Every second of it.
Those are good. You're right. That's a good call. You love a backstage vignette, so I was excited for your answer, Chris, and you did not disappoint.
All right, Rod.
I went with a theme of vignettes as well, and I went with a theme of vignettes for one wrestler, but a particular way that this one wrestler will do backstage vignettes, and that's anytime you give me Shinsuke Nakamura subtitled, that's my vignette, because I absolutely love, I think I made mention of this before, it takes me back to the days of being a kid. It's really, really hard to create a cartoony type character in the WWE anymore, right? Like, we all remember so many of those from our days of yore, right? And Shinsuke has managed to pull it off. I hate reading subtitles. I've made mention of that many times. I don't like to read, period, but I love the Shinsuke subtitles. I love the new Ninja Warrior Nakamura who's burning the world down. All about the Nakamura backstage vignettes.
Speaking of burning the world down, I picked a vignette that was basically backstage, so I'm going to count it because it's my show and your show and Chris's show, so we're going to do it. It's when the Wyatt Six killed everyone. That is how you bring someone on to the... Son of it, they didn't do it again. The Wyatt Six killed Chad Gable. They killed Braun Strowman, which actually they might have paralyzed him. Shout out to Braun Strowman. Hope you get better, buddy. That was an amazing thing that we haven't seen before, where there was actually blood coming in. Did they shoot him? What happened there? I just thought it was terrific all around. So I think the Wyatt Six killing half of the backstage crew is your vignette of the year.
It was kind of like that deal where, remember when the Brian Pillman, Stone Cold Steve Austin gun deal happened and the police got called, right? Because people were worried that it was real. Like, Chad Gable is dead was trending on Twitter, and like they had to truck him out there and be like, no, he's fine. Like, that's how well they pulled that vignette off, Jimmy. That's a good call by you.
All right, we're going to go to a big one here. We're going to go to match of the year. That's why we do it. We love wrestling. and we love.
Oh no! Apparently, you guys just like talking.
The purity of wrestling is a one-on-one match inside a Hell in a Cell. I'm talking CM Punk. I'm talking Drew McIntyre.
Unanimous, then. That's my pick as well.
Oh, is it unanimous? Wow.
Oh, wow. I thought for sure you guys were going somewhere else, but okay,
no,
yes, it was.
Listen, I love that. That was great because it was real blood. They've had a terrific feud overall, except for the stupid bracelet thing. I think that match was a great culmination of that feud. I loved it.
Yeah, that's my match of the year. Drew McIntyre appears on my list way more than I would like him to, but that just speaks to the absolute year that he had. So I got that match from Bad Blood as well, because you look at the match they had at the Royal, I think it was the Royal Rumble. No, it's SummerSlam. The match they had at SummerSlam where Seth Rollins was the guest referee, like that. Yeah. As much as I love Seth Rollins, that match just didn't really work, right? The strap match was just kind of like, I still contend that the rules in that were bogus about how two people touching at the same time, because then the next time that Drew goes and touches, it takes away the fact that Punk just touched the last one. You guys told me not to worry about it. It's the WWE. But that's why the Bad Blood match matters, because there was no question what went on there, right? We didn't see either of them for a little while. Drew McIntyre's head was completely busted open with I've never seen the camera be that close to a dude get busted open that way. Right. And I continue to be amazed at the hits Drew McIntyre can take to his back. Like, shout out to that dude, man. That was the match of the year because it made me queasy.
Chris?
Yeah, the only thing that sucked about that match was the result.
Ah, there you go. That's Chris King right there. All right. What's next, Chris?
All right, we're gonna get this out of the way for me, all right? Because I didn't like giving this wrestler a trophy really at all, but I got to give him something, and I'm not going to give him one of the big ones, so I'll give him Face of the Year. I'll still give that to Cody Rhodes.
Cody Rhodes, Face of the Year.
Boring, I know, but that's where he has to fit in on my list.
No, Cody Rhodes is the Face of the Year, unquestionably. As soon as he walks in, everyone's singing a song. He's your white meat baby face that Rod loves. I definitely think he's Face of the Year. Rod, let's unanimous 3 in a row, baby. 3 in a row?
Absolutely not. You said it yourself there. Somebody that hits the ring and there's no question that they're the good guy. There's no question that the fans are behind him. There's no question that the fans want to sing his song. And that's Jey Uso. Main event Jey Uso is the Face of the Year, okay? Who else would be yelled for in the crowd when it was called for a good guy to come to the ring and save somebody, right? Every time they would yell yeet, right? He had the good guy angle with Rhea Ripley, right? He's got the good guy angle with Sammy. He's got the good guy angle he can play coming back with the bloodline. Jey Uso right now has basically walked into being everybody's good guy after being the right-hand man of Roman Reigns and then being in a tag team with his brother and having the belts for 500 days and cheating his ass off. He has somehow walked into being a white meat level babyface with more spunk and charisma than Cody Rhodes. Jey Uso got this award for me, Chris, because of the same thing you said. Jey deserved getting shouted out somehow, and I gave him Face of the Year.
I mean, he may have fooled you, Rod. He may have fooled all those fans that yeet every week. He hasn't fooled me, though. Because what did I just see him? I just saw him team back up with Roman and Jimmy and all the old bloodline pals. It ain't going to be long before he's back cheating again. He's no face. That boy's a heel.
I'm not going to lie. You're right. Rod, you're right. It's on me. I should have. Jimmy Uso is the Face of the Year just because of
Jey Uso. Jey Uso.
Did I say Jimmy? I meant Jay. Sorry. Both of them. No. All right. Rod, who you got? Next category.
Well, you know what? Let's just go to the opposite of face there. And I like what Chris said. I too did the same thing, right? My face and heel of the year, I gave to somebody a little bit below, like wrestler of the year, male or female, or MVP of the year, right? And so my heel of the year was a guy who can still draw heat, even though the crowd wants to like him. And that is Gunther. All right. Gunther is my heel of the year because Gunther will kill a WWE Hall of Famer who just happens to be in the crowd, right? He just absolutely slayed Goldberg for no reason. And that was fabulous. He will slay members of his own faction, right? How many times have we seen him kill Ludwig Kaiser? He will slay the audience. He will slay other wrestlers. I contend that he is even more heelish because he knows that the choking someone out with the sleeper ending is bullshit, and he does it all the time because he knows it will anger people. Gunther is the heel of the year.
So I went heel of the year with the biggest heel the past couple of years. That's Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre, again, was devilish. The entire run was CM Punk, going to different places that Punk would frequent, taking the wristband that his daughter and his wife's name are on, or his dog and his wife's name are on, sorry, and ripping it and putting it in his mouth. Come on. I can't look at Chris. I'm sorry. I can't even. Go ahead, Chris. You've got me, Chris. I'm sorry.
So, listen, I wanted to give it to Dom. I really did. I think, but we named a stinking award after Dom. So let's give it to a guy who's made a turn. It was a little bit surprising to me when it happened, but I think it's worked. I think that's Chad Gable. I think I'm going to give him heel of the year. He went from Babyface Alpha Academy to whatever he's doing now, Mr. Short Suit. So I'm going to give it to Chad Gable.
Mr. Short Suit. I love that, though, Chris, because he has brought back the "you suck," right? Like we used to do for certain people throughout the years. So that's come back for Gable. So that's a pretty good call there. Look at you with the decent answer.
Gable's had a weird year. It's kind of been up and down of just exposure in general. But now he's on the upswing. Raw going to 3 hours. You never know what can happen there. Let's hit Rivalry of the Year next, shall we? Rivalry of the Year. It's Roman Reigns coming back. It's new bloodline. It's old bloodline. The amount of time and effort and small things that they have done throughout the entire year to bring this to where it is, I think has been done excellently. Reigns calling on the phone, Heyman not there because the phone got thrown away. Just the little things have been terrific. So I'm going to go Reigns in the bloodline. Rod.
Yeah, that's a definitely good storyline. That's definitely made for a lot of premium live events. That's definitely paid off time watching, right? As you stated, that's the thing that hardcore fans like you and I love. We're like, hey, make it worth my while that I have spent the last 4 years watching every waking hour that you put out for me to watch. So I dig that. But this is the correct spot to talk about Liv and Rhea and Dom, okay? Because this is essentially a storyline that literally ran us an entire calendar year. Okay, you want to talk about Roman in the heat with the new bloodline, that's great, but Roman got beat at WrestleMania, took off for a couple of months, showed back up at SummerSlam, slow played it for a while, and then only wrestled a couple of times at the end of the year. Rhea and Liv figured out how to wrestle each other multiple times. They figured out how to screw each other over multiple times. We had Dom of it all. We have the Liv and Finn, which relates to it all. We had the Damian Priest getting birthed into a different character out of it, basically because of Liv and Rhea. We have Rhea becoming a all alone solo badass. It was a great way for her to leave the Judgment Day thanks to Liv Morgan, and it gave Liv Morgan great exposure and also laid the plot for a great storyline of Rhea climbing back up the mountain. We talked on this very podcast about how Rhea was getting stale because she was beating everybody's ass. How do you make someone like Rhea be able to be beaten psychologically? Liv Morgan did it all year long.
I love it. Chris King.
As much as I like to say that Jimmy is wrong with the bloodline answer, and as much as I want to say it's Drew McIntyre CM Punk feud because I thought that was great.
Yeah,
it's the Dom Liv Rhea triangle, right?
Okay.
Because it shocked everybody when it first happened. Liv came out and said, "My goal is to take everything from you," and then she did it. Right? So, it was fantastically done. It's still going on. It's still not resolved. It's been phenomenal. That's been the best feud of the year.
Okay.
Is it me? Is it my turn to pick one?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, I'll say, well, here's what we do here, right? Because we only got some big boys left. So let's go news of the year. Let's get that one picked off here, and then we got big boys to finish out, right? Like if this is the Oscars, we're getting into like supporting actor, actress, best actor, all that. News of the year. There's a lot of different ways you could pick. I chose to go with positive news, okay? Sure, there's plenty of Vince McMahon storylines we could have brought up here. Sure, we could have brought up the sale. Maybe one of you two gentlemen have those. I have Raw moving to Netflix / Raw leaving USA. That's another huge deal. It'd been on USA for so long. It was like the longest running cable TV show, and it's leaving USA. SmackDown is moving over to USA, so we still have the relationship, but something's not quite right. It's moving to Netflix. We're all a little worried about how the Netflix thing will go. They pulled off football spectacularly, but something tells me they're going to put a little less money behind broadcasting WWE every Monday than they did for broadcasting the NFL one day for the big Christmas Day spectacular. So I'm a little worried about that. I'm worried about how the playback will go. The question I asked you last week, Jim, am I going to be able to start Raw 20 minutes in? You know what I mean? Like I've never been able to do. We're still going to get served up commercials, it seems, right? Because we were served up commercials during the NFL broadcast. So that's all still going to happen. But Raw to Netflix, moving to the global leader, being a leader in live sports, moving to streaming, that was the biggest news.
You know, you could rewind football, so I thought that's a good thing that I saw there. I think that was a huge news. I also went positive too because I kind of want to be positive on this one. John Cena returning for 1 year run in 2025, I thought was huge news in 2024. We don't know what that's going to look like, but we know he's going to be a regular for the entire year. And John Cena doesn't do anything small, so I think that's a pretty big deal.
So it's no longer WrestleMania isn't going to be his last match. He's going to go
it's
full.
a whole year.
Okay.
Whole year. Yep. Chris, what was yours?
This was tough for me. But I think it is not just, I don't think it's just one thing, all right? Because the WWE has made a significant move forward this year from underneath the shadow of Vince McMahon. I think that's the biggest thing that's happened to the WWE.
Okay.
And I don't think it's necessarily news itself, but like I think that's the biggest thing outside of the ring that's happened with the WWE is getting out from underneath that shadow.
Well, you could say
a
like
good way to put it.
The sell to TKO and then him having to leave the job at TKO, right? Like those are kind of the two events that ultimately sealed the fact that he wasn't running it anymore. But I like where your head's at there, Chris. The whole Vince McMahon of it all is definitely a big time news story.
And
all
so
right,
it's been exciting to see how we're moving forward. And I do like the Paul Levesque era, as we want to call it, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, for sure. We have 5 awards left. We have Newcomer of the Year, Workhorse of the Year, Male Wrestler, Female Wrestler, and then overall MVP of the year. Let's go to Best Newcomer of the Year. Chris King, give us your pick.
So I don't know how you guys are going to rate this because I don't watch NXT, right?
That's fine. No, that's fine.
So this is definitely something where like maybe they're not as new to you as they are to me. But I got to give it to Braun Breaker this year. He's new to me this year.
Okay.
That's my newcomer in the
fair.
WWE of the year. He came in. He has made an impact in title belt races instantly. I think he is a great character to move forward. So I think that's my newcomer of the year.
I like that. The
That's
only
a
reason
good
I
one.
didn't pick Braun Breaker is because what you said, Chris. I just knew of him from NXT that I just didn't consider him. But that's a good call. I did consider someone that came up from NXT, though, as my number 2.
Well, Rod, who's your number 1?
My number 1 is a free agent signing, right? Someone that was in the other company that we did not talk about on this podcast ever, and certainly not in these awards. But my newcomer of the year is Jade Cargill. When she showed up at the Royal Rumble, it was a huge deal. She threw Nia Jax out immediately and announced herself, and then she proceeded to form a partnership with the biggest female star left in the company. And I don't mean that in a bad way to Bianca Belair. I just mean it's the easiest way to say because Charlotte and Becky all walked away, you know what I mean? And so we were left with Bianca. Jade then linked up with her. And so I just think it's Jade Cargill. I think we're all still like waiting for what Jade Cargill could be. And that to me still makes her basically feel like a newcomer. And she's pulled it off for a whole entire calendar year almost.
I love Jacob Fatu and everything he does. He's going to be my newcomer of the year. Obviously, he's been in the business for a little while, but in WWE, he's new. His facial expressions alone, just that is everything. But then when he gets the moves that he does for the size that he is, are amazing. I love Jacob Fatu, and he's just started. He hasn't even cracked the surface of what he can do in WWE yet.
I consider him as well, but my number 2 is actually Tiffany Stratton. Shout out to her because, Chris, I think she hasn't won a title yet, but the way you gave Braun credit for being figured in, you know what I mean? Tiffany Stratton's she won the Money in the Bank, and she is almost...
She's been an impact, right? Yeah, she's been an impact. I completely agree.
Workhorse of the year.
I'll go.
Over the years, it's been... Go ahead.
Go ahead, Jimmy. Tell us. You can decide.
Over the years, it's been It's been a controversial, is this someone who's not in the main event that works a lot, gets beat a lot, someone who can go over. Rod just got angry because it was Seth Rollins, and that was the right answer in that year for sure. This year, Workhorse of the Year, for me, it came down to two people, very different people. But I'm going with my boy, Kevin Owens, as your Workhorse of the Year. You can put him in any angle. You can put him with anybody, and he will be a star in that angle. Right now, he's making people care, and that is something big in this title reign that Cody Rhodes has, because he hasn't had that many matches with people. So I think Kevin Owens is the Workhorse of the Year.
KO is the Workhorse of the Year. I like it. I'm not as angry about it as I was when you gave Seth Rollins as an answer. I still think that main eventers maybe shouldn't be considered for this award, but I have a main eventer myself, a lower level main eventer, but a main eventer. My Workhorse of the Year is Sami Zayn, for much the same reason that you shouted out Kevin Owens, right? Sami's going to work. You know what I mean? Like he's going to be the guy who's going to wrestle in the main event right after the premium live event. You know what I mean? Like Sami's going to do that. He's going to be the guy who's going to wrestle in the main event leading into the premium live event. You can have him win the Intercontinental Championship. You can have him lose the Intercontinental Championship. He can be a worthwhile contender for the heavyweight belts. I just like a lot of what Sami Zayn brings. He's the man who can tell a storyline quickly for the audience, right? His ability to stand in the ring and speak earnestly. I think there's not a lot of other guys that the audience allows to stand there and like explain the emotion and the backstory of it all the way they allow Sami Zayn to do it. And that's a bit of why I put him as the Workhorse as well, because you need that to further lines. You need people to wrestle, and you need people that understand how to relay what's happening to the audience. And Sami Zayn does it all the time.
Chris King.
This one was a difficult one for me, because do I want it to give to somebody who we see week in, week out? Someone who not just that we see, but the crowd is also excited to see week in, week out. Did I want to give it to somebody who not only shows up for a match weekend, but maybe they're like kind of what Rod leaned to, they're putting in the work to keep people interested. They're moving storylines along. Maybe they're coming out and standing in the ring for 15 minutes trying to move a story along and things like that. And they're there every week to do that. But I got to be a little bit of a fan here. I got to give it to someone who has held a title this year, has been there week in, week out. Maybe not on every single PLE, but the crowd gets hyped every time they come out on the stage. Wonderful with the mic, has done some great promos with some people out there. And that is my guy, L.A. Knight. Yeah.
He's had an interesting year. He's won a lot. His star has come down a lot though, from where it was. Hopefully it gets built back up. I'm okay with LA Knight being Workhorse of the Year. That's fine.
Yeah, I see LA Knight the same way I was saying Sami Zayn, right? Like LA Knight's one of those guys who'll be like, hey, we need something that seems like a main event for a SmackDown or a Raw. Hey, put LA Knight in the, you know what I mean? So he's good there. I like that. Workhorse LA Knight. You got to give LA Knight props somehow, because as Jimmy said, it was a tough year for him. So I'm glad that the megastar's getting something.
All right, here we go. Male Wrestler of the Year, Female Wrestler of the Year, and Wrestler of the Year. Let's start with Male Wrestler of the Year, and I have to give it to Gunther, who has been the Intercontinental Champion and then took a little bit of a break and now is the World Champion. Rod gave Gunther all his praise earlier. I just think Gunther has been an amazing wrestler this year. Male Wrestler of the Year, Gunther.
Love it. Not mad at Gunther being the Male Wrestler of the Year. The fact that he held two different belts is tough to look apart from, but I went with somebody different. I went with someone who probably had the best year of anyone on the microphone. We didn't have a specific, we know he's shouting out microphone skills, but I probably would have given it to this person as well. And it's Drew McIntyre. I don't want to give Drew as many props as Chris does on a daily basis, right? It kind of ruffles my feathers that Chris just sits here and blows smoke up Drew McIntyre's bum all the time. But quite frankly, I do it for Seth Rollins, so I have to allow it coming from the other way. And Drew was just he was there. It was him and Punk, him and Seth. He just heat, right? Like Drew could draw heat from the audience too. There'd be times where he'd come out and the audience would boo the heck out of him. There'd be other times where he'd show up and the audience would cheer for him a little bit, right? You never quite knew what he was going to do. He shows up, he's with the bloodline a little bit, and it just Drew out and out was the male wrestler of the year, hands down for me. I didn't even think it could be anybody else.
All right, wonderful. Chris King.
I wanted to give it to Drew, Rod. I really did, but I got to give it to somebody else who has been thoroughly involved in every major storyline for 2024. Maybe they haven't held the hardware. Maybe they haven't been successful in the ring, but they have been involved in every single major storyline. And I even like his new little show, catching up in cars with KO, and that's Kevin Owens. He's my male wrestler of the year.
Let's go. You're not getting an argument with that. He hasn't won much, but you're not getting an argument here, buddy. I love it.
I hate that I've now become the Drew McIntyre stan. This is how did we get here?
What's going on here? All right, Rod, give us female wrestler of the year.
Liv Morgan. I mean, you could tell me Rhea Ripley, and that's fine. I'm not going to say that anything against Rhea in a year where I've basically on 6 to 7 occasions kind of been like, we need to put an APB out for Bianca Belair, right? In a year where I continue wondering when Charlotte is going to come back. Liv Morgan was just there. She cut one of the promos of the year when she said, guys don't like girls like Rhea, they like girls like me. I mean, how many times did we see that moment on social media when she did the little turnaround there? I mean, Liv Morgan drew heat for the little fanboys on the internet because we know what fanboys on the internet like. She draws heat that way. She's actually a good wrestler. There's, the dom of it all. Just, I don't see how you could give female wrestler of the year to anybody other than Liv Morgan.
Chris.
Yeah, it's Liv Morgan. Hands down. By far. I mean, is there if there wasn't Liv and the Rhea thing happening, like, would we really care a lot about the women's division right now? Probably not too much. And the crazy thing is we have forgotten that Liv also holds the belt right now, right? Like, she's a belt holder, and all this heat really doesn't require her to have the belt either.
Chris, let me speak to what you just said right there. The Royal Rumble, winning it is a huge deal. Do you guys remember off the top of your head right now who won the Royal Rumble on the female side?
I do.
Chris, do you?
No.
See, exactly. I didn't either until
Bailey.
I just watched it earlier today. That's the only reason I was able to be reminded. And that's what I think you're saying there, Chris. The Royal Rumble winner should be a big deal. This year, somebody won the Royal Rumble, and we didn't talk about her at any point during this podcast. Bailey, Chris, in case you couldn't remember. Jim said he knew Bailey. Bailey won the Royal Rumble, got the main event at WrestleMania, and then we didn't give a crap about her the rest of the year. That's how huge Liv Morgan was.
Yep.
Oh, my God, throw the ball. All right, female wrestler of the year for me is also Liv Morgan.
Unanimous.
Oh, my God, he caught the ball. Okay, anyway, sorry. Female wrestler of the year is Liv Morgan. Wrestler of the year. Overall wrestler of the year. We're going to talk about the MVP of the WWE, Chris King. Who's your MVP?
Gunther. You can't put another man or woman in the ring right now and make me believe that they can. Nobody else is as dominant as him. There's no one that goes in the ring with Gunther, and I don't think Gunther's going to win this match. Right? Not seeing it, not going to happen. I think he had the fluke losing the Intercontinental, but he has just gone ahead and shown that he didn't care. He got into the tournament for the heavyweight title, and he won, and he has defended it every step of the way against whoever has tried to challenge him. He has not stepped down or away from anybody. He is by far the most dominant wrestler in WWE right now. That gets him the MVP.
Interesting. I took more of a holistic approach to it, but Rod, I'm interested to see who your MVP is.
Give me a kilt. Give me a sword named after someone from my family. I am the number one Drew McIntyre fan on this podcast. I got Drew McIntyre as the rest of the year. I just the guy was solid every time on the mic. The guy brought emotion. The guy brought anger. The guy brought humor. And Jimmy, the same way that Chris said that when Gunther gets in the ring, I don't see the reason Drew McIntyre can lose other than he loses himself, right? Those are the only time that Drew McIntyre got beat this year is when he made bad mental mistakes when he tried to gloat a little bit too much. Other than that, he was an absolute ass kicker, laid waste to a lot of people. And you're going to beat the crap out of Phil, CM Punk, I'm going to absolutely love you. So Drew McIntyre, you are my guy for beating the shit out of CM Punk all year long.
So I went back and forth a lot on this one. I think there's somebody, the first half of the year definitely is somebody, but I think overall, even though she has been hurt, I think Rhea Ripley is your MVP of the year. I think the fact that she was so dominant and then has been in one of the best storylines of the year has put her on even another level than she was in the past. So I am going with Rhea Ripley as our overall MVP of the year.
That I would have had a issue with that if I got to see her a little bit more in the ring. I think, Jimmy, that's kind of hurt her a little bit. And to be honest with you, my second choice, even in front of Drew, Rod, was Dom. I thought about putting Dom here.
I thought you were going to have Dom number one. I really did think you were going to have Dom number one.
Like, I really wanted to, because I did see some things from him this year I didn't think was possible. So, like, I really wanted to put Dom, but I really think I got to give it to Gunther. I love that you're becoming a Drew fan, Rod, and the mega powers are going to unite. You're going to see it. We are speaking it into existence.
I think you're going to see it,
Our
Rod.
boys are going to team up. It's going to be wonderful.
And that has been the, fourth annual, I think, yeahweknowy's, third or fourth annual yeahweknowy's, part of the Morgan Knows Podcast Network. Gentlemen, it's been a fantastic 2024. Can't wait to 2025.
Seth, my guy, let me just formally apologize, but your heel turn that you are fixing to make here in 2025 will be phenomenal, and you are definitely going to be in the running for heel of the year next year, maybe even male wrestler of the year, Seth. I'm still there. I'm still a visionary. I'm still a revolutionary with you. You're still my Monday Night Messiah.
Goodbye, Nate. Yeah.